my father was, is and was very interested in sports, and so it was very natural for us to become interested in hockey. I would be quite certain that the reason that I'm a goaltender is because of my brother. I don't really recall, being pushed or anything else. I think it's a matter of my brother is 6 years older, and I tried to do everything that he did, and for some reason he became a goaltender, and for a much easier reason I did, just because of him. I mean, I had the advantages. I mean, it's very obvious that somebody who works off of somebody else obviously gets a head start, and so I was, my brother playing before me, and my being able to play with his friends and so on, and so that I would be playing against better competition than people of my own age and this kind of thing, I mean, has to be a tremendous help. And I'm sure that I had a number of passing heroes. Somebody would do something, and I would lionize them for a while, but then drop them in favor of somebody else who would end up doing something similar or something. I really can't recall. I think it's easier to sort of, in terms of, I think I had some hockey heroes. I don't know if I ever really had any other heroes. And most of my hockey heroes were Toronto Maple Leaf goaltenders, kind of thing. Growing up in Toronto and everything else, the Canadians didn't really exist except as, an embarrassment to the Leafs. That was about it.
Well, how great is your commitment to pro hockey?
My commitment is total when I'm playing and practicing. I really enjoy it. I think.
Is it your whole life?
When I'm doing it, it is. I mean, it's like anybody involved in anything. It's not their whole life. I mean, they do any number of other things. When I'm doing it, I want to do it, and I put as much time and as effort, as I possibly can into it, because I really feel I should. There's no reason not to. If you have a certain amount of ability, then you should, play up to that ability all the time.
What do you want to do?
Well, that's the very good question. If I did know that, then maybe I would be able to, find out or figure out how long I would, stay in hockey. But I really don't know, and that's one of the things I like about hockey, as well as the game itself, is that it provides you a little bit of time to sort of experiment around and try to find things that that you are interested in. And at this point in time, there's really nothing. There's nothing that I would absolutely be totally involved in and eliminate hockey. But something may come up, in the next little while.
Do you have any sense of privacy?
Oh yes, I think I have a great desire for privacy. I think that basically I am a kind of a private person. I don't really respond well or react well in large groups. I think I can react all right as a hockey player in large groups. I can speak in that respect. I can perform on the ice, and I don't have any real thought of 18,000 people or whoever is watching television or whatever. But I think that really just sort of talking to people or whatever, I think I'm quite private. I don't think that most of the time, except with people that I know very well, I'm not really willing to sort of let anything out, kind of thing.
Somebody the other day said to me, Ken Dryden is like an astronaut. He's too perfect. He's a superhero.
Jeez, I don't know who said that. Again, that's from afar, and that person probably knows me from on Wednesday nights and on Saturday nights, and he knows what he reads in the newspaper about going to law school or whatever, but he doesn't know me. And the closer you get to somebody, the more or the less super that anybody really becomes. And so it's very nice, and I'm glad he made a comment such as that. But whether it's very realistic or not, you really don't know, unless you really do get to know the person.
How much of the image is real?
Well, I don't think that's one thing that I really, really object to, and it's one of the strongest objections that I have is when people talk about an image, and that's and like, well, you have an image of this or whatever. Well, wait a minute, that's not. You're cultivating the image. I'm just doing things. I'm acting and reacting the way that I want to, kind of thing. And if you're saying that that's an image, you're wrong, because that's real. Whenever somebody would talks in terms of image, well, that's good for your image. Well, the heck, it's not. Good for your image. You don't do it because it's good for your image. You do it because you want to do it. And if you're saying that it furthers an image, well, then that's your superficial external impression of the whole thing, that this is an image. I can remember when I first saw Stanfield or Trudeau, they were maybe only 5'10" or something, and like, I guess I assumed they must be 7 feet tall or 7'6", because I assumed I would sort of be looking up, and I was looking down, and it's the same kind of thing. I think with when people sort of see you, they know you from one particular aspect of your life, and they assume that all the other aspects you do as well in, or or whatever.
Do you have any physical fear?
No, I don't think so. Occasionally, say in a practice or something, you'll get hit a few times, and then you'll find yourself sort of straightening up when shots come, but that's gone by the next practice. And when things happen, like when, say, the other night when Henri Richard got hit with the shot, it sort of makes you think, and it sort of upsets you and this kind of thing, but it's then you become embroiled in the game again, and you sort of forget about it for that period of time. The risk is there, but you can minimize the risk to a very great extent.
What was the emotion or the sensation during the Canada-Soviet series?
Oh, it was just overwhelming in all respects, both in a very depressing stage and then in just a totally happy period. It was the most difficult month I've ever gone through. It was, to sort of have something play with your emotions to that extent of having the pressure that existed, and then having things go as badly as they did, and then things going as well as they did, all within such a short period of time, and then just this sort of the day-to-day and momentary changes in your feelings too. It was a very, very difficult time, but at the same time it was incredibly exciting.
What was the worst moment of all that?
Oh, I think probably the day after the first game in Montreal. It was it was funny. I woke up and I didn't know really whether it had happened or not, and I guess it was a Sunday and there were no papers, and so I sort of couldn't see graphically that it had happened, and just going to practice that particular day and sort of being the odd man out in the goalie rotation after sort of being chosen to play the first game, and all of a sudden I'm the third man, and absolutely deserving it, but at the same time, being in that situation, and it was just very, very sort of a helpless, the whole thought of the series, as far as most Canadians were concerned, was not just sort of having a sporting series. It was like, here is the chance for Canada to reassert her claim on world dominance in hockey, and we'll finally get the professionals against them, and we'll beat them, by the score of 10-0 and win 8 straight games, and won't this be marvelous? And then it didn't turn out that way, and so it was a very difficult time for most Canadians, and I think that in a way it brought out a little more clearly what the kind of significance that hockey might have for a lot of people. The fact that 3/4 of the nation watched the game on the games on television, and just the extreme emotion that everybody had in each of the games, and this kind of thing often doesn't come out except in a crisis situation where sort of all your ideals and everything else are sort of questioned.
If somebody writes your autobiography 50 years from now, what do you want to stand out in your life?
Well, I would think it would be something that hasn't happened yet. I would hope that that's the case. Certainly if it is something that has happened yet, it would be sort of disappointing.